in a slightly different way, instead of giving a speech, why can't we have a more audio-visual experience out here? Good with that? Okay to roll? Let's roll. 29:52. Okay, that's countdown. Good. Friends, India is today, because of Prime Minister's policies, the choices that he made, India has today emerged as a bright spot in a globally, in a global situation which is today considered to be a very difficult situation. Many countries are going through lots of difficulties. Despite all those dark clouds, India has emerged as a very important bright spot in the world. Why that has happened, what is the role of BRICS, what is the role of clicks, is what I'm going to talk about. When the pandemic hit all of us, all the countries had some choices to be made. What are those choices that India made which are different from the choices that other richer countries, more developed countries made? That's the fundamental difference which needs to be known to all of us. Most of the countries followed a policy of consumption. It was a strategy where you print more, increase the size of your balance sheet of the central banks, and put that money in the hands of consumers, consume. Whereas in India, Prime Minister Modi, he followed a strategy where a very focused consumption, free food grain to 800 million people, free vaccine doses, 2.2 billion vaccine doses, some consumption items, but a great focus on investment, a very big focus on public investment. We all know that 1 rupee invested in infrastructure gives us 3.6 rupees worth economic activity in the economy, right? So this change, this difference is what created a situation where India is today having high growth, moderate inflation, compared to global scenario which is having low growth and high inflation. That's a fundamental difference, and that is showing the results. Structurally, India's economy is changing from 27% at its nadir investment as a part of India's GDP. It has grown to 31%. And this is the public investment program in front of you, friends. From something like 2.5–3 trillion rupees annually, it has now steadily increased from 3 to 3.4 to 4 to 5.5 trillion rupees, 7.5 trillion rupees. And this year's budget, this is 10 trillion rupees. Everywhere we go and talk to the industry people, the factory utilization has increased significantly from a low of 60–65%, it is now 75–80%. It is resulting into huge employment generation. What used to be the formal employment, what used to be just about 600,000 per month, is now 1.5 million per month. That's huge in a country where employment is a very important factor. These are hard numbers, can be checked by anybody, can be verified by anybody. So this is where I would like to shift the gears to what are we doing in railways, what are we doing in telecom, what are we doing in IT and electronics, the three responsibilities that Prime Minister Modi ji has given me. I'll talk about railways first. Massive network, all of us know, one of the largest networks in the world. 8 billion passengers carried every year. 8 billion. Clicker. 22,000 plus trains every day. 22,000 plus trains every day. 7,300 stations. Now, how do you transform a network of this complexity, of this magnitude? We have 1.2 million employees. Imagine my plight when I have to do the annual performance appraisal. How do we transform a network of this size? Where should I point the clicker? Yeah. So the first focus that Prime Minister Modi ji put was change the passenger experience. What is passenger experience? Passenger experience comes from the stations, comes from the trains, comes from safety, comes from the way ticketing is done, all those things. We started with the station work. Today, we have 3 or 4 stations which gave us the experience of how to develop stations. This is Rani Kamlapati station in Bhopal, one of the most complex stations initially. Huge roof plaza was created. This is the huge roof plaza. I'll show the next picture. Look at this. This is inside a station. Huge roof plaza where people can very comfortably stay, can wait, have lots of other activities to be done. This is Gandhinagar capital. You see this entire hotel property which you see, Leela, this is built on top of the tracks. So in an urban space, congested space, how do you create new urban space, right? Using this experience, Prime Minister Modi ji said, now time to scale it up. We got 3-4 stations done. Now we know what are the challenges. Now we know what are the design issues to be faced. So now scale it up. So we started on a journey for about 200 stations to begin with, then ramped it up to about 1,200 stations. And today we are working on 1,275 stations as we speak. So each of the stations, Prime Minister gave us a very clear task, and is a tough taskmaster, we all know. Very clear task that think 50 years ahead. Don't design for today, design for 50 years. Create new urban spaces. Integrate all the modes of transportation within the station. There is city on both sides of the stations. Let the station become the entity which basically integrates both sides of the city, doesn't divide. These are the challenges that he put before us. And friends, the designs which have been created by our teams, phenomenal. If you look at some of the designs, this is New Delhi station. Can you imagine? And this is not something which is there in faraway future. This is the complete design done. All the urban planning agencies who have to give their permits, some 100 odd permits taken, tender already issued. By the middle of March, the tender will be awarded. All the pre-work which requires to be done, all the pre-works done. This is something which you will see in construction in the coming couple of years. Huge urban space getting created. Roof plaza was a concept that Prime Minister himself gave. He said our stations are, and Prime Minister is very closely connected with railways, as all of us know. It's an emotional connect for him. So he said all our stations are there in congested urban spaces. Can we create new urban space in stations? So this is the idea he gave. So in New Delhi station, we are creating close to 50 acres of new urban space. Imagine how much more opportunity the city will get. These are all pictures of that design. Everywhere we are going for elevated, wherever large cities are there, people should be very comfortable when they come to the station. So we are creating this elevated approach and departure roads. So there is a separate arrival, there is a separate departure. And this is all on elevated network so that because these are large stations where millions of people come every year, millions. These are not numbers in thousands, these are numbers in millions. So, and the way railway network will grow, this will see multiple growth in the coming years. So everywhere we are going for complete master plan, very focused urban space creation, very focused multimodal integration, very focused separation of departure and arrival, wherever needed, elevated routes to reach the station and to go out of the station. Maybe some spot where I have to stand. Yeah, this is Ahmedabad. Again, one of the few iconic stations. Of course, every station is important, but some of these stations are really iconic. These are stations which carry more than 10 million passengers every year. So all of them are being taken up in a very, very meticulous planning. Again, tender done to be awarded within next few weeks, next few days. Pre-construction activities almost on the verge of completion. All operational decisions taken. So these are progressing very, very well. And again, we are taking up a very modular approach to construction, creating roof plaza, creating elevated transport corridor around the station. These are 3 roofs getting constructed, multimodal plaza. Again, focusing on heritage elements, making sure that the city's heritage is fully integrated in the station design. Creating huge roof plaza in Ahmedabad. 15 acres of new urban space is getting created. This is Mumbai, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminal, one of the heritage terminals of India, what was called VT, now Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminal. Phenomenal care we have taken in preserving each and every heritage element. The pillars are of cast iron, which are again a piece of beauty. And each and every pillar, how do we conserve? How do we make sure that the pillar goes on for next 100 years? Each and every element of heritage has been, and this will be comparable to King's Cross station in London by every stand. You should feel proud of the work that has been done. All permissions taken, tender done, work to be started in the coming days. And again, Prime Minister gave us, like whatever we do, we work till here and he'll say, no, achieve this. We do this, then he'll say, like, do this. It's like very, very demanding boss. He said that not a single train should be cancelled. How do you reconstruct a station without cancelling trains? It was a very tough task, but friends, meticulous planning, going deep into details. Today we are at a situation where there will be absolutely minimal disruption of traffic at all these stations, and still we will be reconstructing them fully to a new standard. Chennai, Alambur, I'll just quickly flip through all the Kanpur, again very congested area, but creating a modern new building there. I went to IIT Kanpur, so I feel very proud about this. Jaipur, again, a very big heritage. So how do we use that heritage to create a station design which is like part of the city and still a modern building? Gwalior, again, a big heritage. So how do we retain that heritage and still create a modern structure? Work has already started on these stations. Already tenders awarded, work started, contractors actually working there in the field. This is Prayagraj, a station where when Kumbh happens, you get in a single day 10 million people. On a single day, you get 10 million people. How do you design a station for that kind of volume? Phenomenal challenge, but the teams have delivered. Work has started on this, tenders awarded 4 or 5 months back, work has started on this. Again, huge thinking has gone into creating space where that peak traffic of 10 million people on a single day can be managed in a very effective way. Surat, again, huge multimodal. What I wanted to explain was huge multimodal integration. The bus stand, the BRT, metro, everything getting integrated into one multimodal hub. So it's a totally different way of looking at infrastructure. Our Prime Minister always says, PM Gati Shakti program, he says that think of integrating all the modes today itself so that if you construct something today, it should not get disrupted tomorrow. Bangalore, Visakhapatnam, Safdarjung, Chandigarh. I can show you multiple pictures. All these are the places where work has started. I'm not showing you something which is there out in future. This is where work is started. Delhi Cant, again, huge transportation challenge, but we created this entire, from the flyover, we created this entire elevated road which runs around the station and makes sure that the passengers are not feeling any inconvenience. Lots and lots of thinking has gone into all this. Jammu Tawi, again, a piece of heritage, piece of religious culture we incorporate in the city. So PM says, Virasat bhi, Vikas bhi. Maintain your, preserve your heritage while you are developing. So that thought process we have maintained in each and every station. Rameshwaram, I'll quickly flip through. I wish the flipper was functioning faster. This is the report card. Construction started on 49 stations and rapidly moving towards 1,275. Friends, this was first part of the passenger experience. Second part of the passenger experience is the Vande Bharat train. A very, very complex piece of machine. Very complex piece. When Prime Minister gave this challenge that design a world-class train, the first impulse was go out, go to Germany, go to France, go to Japan, import it. But PM said no. It has to be designed by our engineers. It has to be manufactured in India. It has to be really make in India, made in India, designed in India train. And the train is a huge success. Almost every 7-8 days, a new train is getting launched. A small video where I would like you to... The design elements were so complex that since the tracks are in whatever shape they are, we designed a train which has been tested for 180 kmph. Look at this glass of water. As we say in Hindi, पानी की glass नहीं हिली, लेकिन दुनिया हिल गई. Look at the glass of water, right? This is not stuck there. It's lying just like, right? This is where the entire design elements came in. Like in a truck, you have a chassis below the truck. In train, below the coach, there is a very complex piece of machine called bogie, in which the wheels sit, the gears sit, the traction, the bull gear, this is the bull gear out here. That bull gear would be sitting here. The motor will sit on this. We designed it to a precision, which is actually today, I feel very proud to say that when Prime Minister gave the challenge, it has to be lower in cost, better in quality, then only you will be able to export it. So we created a system which is lower in cost, better in quality compared to global standards. So this is where the big engineering thing lies, right? Again, passenger experience comes for stations, trains, safety. So the safety system that world uses is practically a European system called ETCS. Very complex system. We decided to design and develop our own system out here, which has to be simple, which can be replicated, taken to the world. System called Kavach. It automatically stops. It's like if you compare with the current European system, which is ETCS L2, level 2. This is better than level 2 and comparable to level 3. Level 3, very few countries are there, but we are rapidly moving in this direction. This is a test in which I personally sat in one train. Other train, there was chairman of railway board. Same track. 2 trains coming at high speed, and the Kavach stops the system exactly at 400 meters automatically.
Both locos successfully brake and automatically stop at almost 400
meters. Both the trains
meters.
automatically stop at exactly 400 meters. I took that risk. Being an engineer, I feel very comfortable and confident of our engineering talent in the country. I'll come to the bullet train, friends. Very complex design, very complex piece of engineering, very complex project, but the progress is phenomenal. Progress is phenomenal. By now, we have completed 149 kilometers of pillars. Recently, Japanese, very senior people came from the Japanese Prime Minister's office, and they were surprised at the pace and quality of the work and some of the innovations that we have done in this construction project. This full span casting yard, the Japanese actually said that they would like to replicate this kind of thing in their construction technologies. Huge machines, most of these machines, first machine we learned from outside, but then all the machines we built, designed in the country. Large construction, large, very, very large, totally new way of working. Again, Prime Minister said that don't look at this project as a construction project. Think of this project as a project which changes the way of working in the country. That's the way, that's the target he set before us. This entire construction process, like once the pillars are done, then this large machine picks up a girder. Each of the girder is like 1,100 tons, 1,100 tons. Picks it up, puts it on this transporter. This is the transporter, 216 wheels it has. Then this transporter goes ahead. It will go up to here. Then this launching gantry will pick it up and put it on the gap between these two pillars. So it's a very rapid construction, very fast-paced construction. And since the country didn't have this kind of, India never had this kind of technology, with this project, this new construction technology has become part of our playbook. Stations, bridges on the rivers, everything is going on at a very, very torrid pace. Kya hua? Is taraf? Anand station, Sabarmati station, this is almost now 80% completed. Small video clip of construction activities. Large girders now, good thing is, many of these girder casting structures, which we initially imported, now these innovations have happened in places like Rajkot, places like Surat, places like Sri Perumbudur. And today these people have started getting export orders for the casting equipment. Already we have, within a short period, we have exported about some 80 odd consignments of these equipment. This is phenomenal. I mean, look at this construction activity. I feel so proud of it. This is the transporter going up there. The launching girder picks it up. While there is traffic moving down below, without any hassle, coolly this it's fun. I invite all of you to go and see this site, work site. It's phenomenal. You'll feel so proud of what our engineers are doing, what the vision our Prime Minister has given to us. This river deck was completed in 1 month. So this is November 22. This picture is from November 22, friends. This is December 22. And this is January. It's a pace that needs to, actually you need to go there and see, to feel it, feel the energy and feel the urge to excel among the engineers. That feeling you'll get only if you go and see it there. No picture can replace that energy that you'll go and see, feel there. I'll come to the digital world. I said bricks and clicks. So investment in railway is a transformative thing that is creating so much more traction for the economy. Similarly, investment in the digital economy. We all know UPI transactions are today close to 1.5 trillion US dollars. Our digital platform for COVID helped us give 2.1 billion doses within a very short period of time. We all know these data. our education thing. The India Stack, which has got created over the last 6 years, it was launched in 2016. The India Stack, which has got created as today, we have a solution where you can create population scale solutions which are today tested on platforms like payment, platform like healthcare, platform like identity. Each of these individual items are powerful in themselves, but together, combined together, they can help solve any major problem in the world. So this is the power of the India Stack, and today the whole world wants to try out some of the pieces of it, and our Prime Minister has given us the authorization that give it as our contribution to the world. Our civilizational ethos is reflected in the G20 logo, one earth, one family, one future. So when we are one family, why should we be holding back on the technologies developed by us? Shouldn't it be shared with everybody? That's the ethos with which we are working. Multiple things. This is where the next action is. Logistics, commerce, and credit is going to be a major, major focus in 2023, where digital credit, can we make it available for 10 rupees to 1,000 rupees to a person there on the streets of Kanpur, to the person on the streets of Madurai? Can we do that as seamlessly as a big industrialist would be getting the credit from a large bank? Can we get that same facility for the poorest of the poor? That's going to be the big focus in 2023. 5G, again a matter of great pride. Prime Minister launched it on 1st of October 2022. Within first 100 days, we have covered more than 200 cities. And recently at Davos, the industry leaders actually gave statements, and they were published in Wall Street Journal and all, that this is the fastest deployment happening anywhere in the world. But what gives bigger happiness? What gives bigger happiness is not just the pace of deployment. It is the development of India's own 4G and 5G technology stack. The stack is now ready. It was initially tested for 1 million simultaneous calls. Then it was tested for 5 million simultaneous calls. And now it has been tested for 10 million simultaneous calls. Phenomenal success. Today, there are at least 9 or 10 countries which want to try it out, and it will be rolled out, and very happy to share with all of you Prime Minister's vision of making India as a telecom technology exporter. Today, there are 2 Indian companies who are exporting to the world, telecom gear. Coming 3 years, we'll see India as a major telecom technology exporter in the world. This is the journey, friends. Time is clicking. The clicker must work fast. Semicon. Very, very happy to share with you. When Prime Minister approved the Semicon India program on the 1st of January 2022, we knew it's going to be a long, difficult, arduous journey. We knew that we'll have to persevere. We knew that nothing can happen in 1 quarter or 1 year. So we promised to all of you that within next 14 to 16 months, we will work hard, we'll interact with everybody, we'll learn from world's experience, and come out with a program which is credible, which will take the country on a good semiconductor journey for next 10 years. We came, as government, we promised to you, and this 14 to 16 month period begins 1st of March this year. So stay tuned. You will see some good news in the coming weeks. We know about, friends, I'll end it and open it up for questions, saying that India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's leadership is investing both in bricks and clicks, making sure that the poorest of the poor are getting integrated into an economy which is today increasingly a digital economy. an economy which is today growing at 6 to 8% on a regular basis, on a consistent basis. Thank you very much for your patience. As you say, time is over, but if you want, I'm okay with questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honourable Minister has been very kind to accept questions from the audience. So I suspect that there will be some microphones that will be brought to you. May I request you to kindly state your name and use the microphone and please ask your questions of the Minister. Do we have any microphones there that can be given to the audience? Thank you.
While you think about questions, I also wanted to thank Economic Times. All these last 10, 15 years, this is one event, GBS is one event which I never missed. And I was always there in the audience. So thank you, E.T., for inviting me to be here as a speaker. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
I'm feeling privileged to be in front of you. Thank you so much, Bodhi Dada, everybody.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Karan Singh Sodi. Thank you for the brilliant presentation. Very proud to, and feel very proud as an Indian. So I had one question. Around 2020, there were talks about private freight rail corridor to boost logistics. Some thoughts on that or some pointers on that?
I would like to share the global experience on railways. Globally, railways has been seen as an industry which is having a very large social obligation. It's seen as an industry which is a combination of commercial, but a very large part of it is social obligation, except, let's say, North America or South America or Australia, where it is purely a commercial entity. But in a country where we have 1.35 billion people, 8 billion people moving every year on railways, we thought that it is prudent to learn from experience of others and keep it within the government setup. So there is no program for railway privatization.
Raise your hand, please. I think there's a gentleman there in the left-hand corner that would... There you are. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was a wonderful presentation. And as if we are not in India, we are abroad somewhere, in some of the cities. Yeah. Now, my question, I extend the question Mr. Sodi asked. 20 years back, I was involved in the food grain freight corridor from north to south, because the wheat to be carried from north to the south, and from south the rice, etc., to be brought it to the northern region. Because another thing is that the wheat, all the cereals are getting rotten in various godowns. So there was a proposal that a dedicated corridor freight will be there for the food grains, connecting north and south and east and west. May I have your views on that?
I'll explain this entire thing. In transport economics, what is important is that you don't divide the assets between different applications. If the assets are used multiple applications, for multiple applications, then that is more optimal compared to dividing the assets between applications. So today the thought process has got very refined, and we are adding close to 4,500 kilometers of network every year, which amounts to like 12 kilometers per day, 12 kilometers of new tracks per day. So we have to increase the capacity to such a large extent that there is enough capacity for food grains, enough for coal, enough for small parcels, for every kind of cargo. And I also want to share very happily share with you, in the last 50, 60 years, railway has been consistently losing the market share. The lowest point was 27%. Very happy to share with you. Last year, from 27%, railways increased to 28%. This year, we are doing close to 29 or 29.5%. And coming 2 to 3 years, railways will go towards 35% market share. So that's the thought process we have to.
Now, here I will add.
One question, one person.
We have a gentleman on here on the right who would like to ask a question.
Good afternoon, Minister. First of all, may I congratulate you. I could really see the excitement of you as an engineer sharing all the engineering marvels that India is going through. My question will be light, and they are not meant to solicit any government information. I read in the FT recently about flying experience, and they said that there'll be a future when no one would want to fly. And I'm just looking at the kind of stuff that you're doing on the railways, and I'm wondering what Jyotiraj is telling you in the cabinet meetings as an aviation minister. So I'd like you to hear some thoughts about that.
If you again go back to transport economics, for a population of 1.35 or 1.4 billion, today railway carries about 8 billion people. Aviation carries about point or maybe couple of less than a million, 0.3 million, 0.3 billion, 0.3 versus 8. That's the gap, right?
Right.
Country will have enough for everybody is my point.
Right.
Up to 250 kilometers, road is very good. 250 to 1,000 kilometers, railway is the ideal mode. Beyond 1,000 kilometers, air will be the ideal mode. So there will be enough for everybody.
So just one more question on the railways bit, sir.
One question, one person.
Well, I just have
One per person, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a gentleman at the far left there, left.
Sir, good
Who is
morning.
it?
My name is Rajiv. I work with French MNC called Saint-Gobain, which is a big 50 billion group. First of all, sir, thank you very much for turbocharging India's growth in multiple dimensions. We are proud as an Indian. And second, you'll be happy to know that the entire world of Saint-Gobain comprising of such a large group is served from India for entire world's IT needs. So the India developments in India. So my question is very personal. I see people struggling in leading one ministry. You are leading 3 ministries, turbocharging growth in all 3. What's the secret behind this, sir?
Prime Minister Modi ji. Next
There's a
question.
gentleman here for the next question.
Sir, my
Thank
name
you.
is Krishna Kumar. I worked in steel industry and right now I am in mining industry. We know it's a first thing, it's an excellent presentation by you. Even professional people, like McKinsey, we come across so many people, but I have, to be honest, I have never seen such a presentation, It actually peps up everybody here. Thank you so much for that. But it's a brick and mortar question. Even now, the mining industry is facing shortage of rakes and
You are
wagons.
absolutely right.
Steel industry is facing so much of shortage of rakes and wagons.
I want to add to this
What
point.
is-
What you are saying is absolutely right. We should have invested in this kind of capacity creation 30 years back. Unfortunately, focus on railways got only in 2014. So I really want to share these numbers, please sit. Very important point is, thank you for raising this point. Focus on railway investment came in 2014 only. Before that, the investment in railways was a paltry 35,000, sometimes 30,000, sometimes 20,000 crore a year. A network of this size, an economy which needs to grow at a rapid pace, that kind of investment cannot do. When Modi ji came to Delhi, he took the reins of the country. First thing he did was to merge railway budget with general budget. Right? One of the first things he did was that. And that was with a clear thought process that we have to increase investment in railways. Railways cannot lie as an isolated entity, which is starving for capital. So he merged it with the general budget. 2015, he increased the investment in railways to 40,000 crore. Immediately doubled it. Then railways ecosystem started feeling the pressure. Can we deliver to this kind of growth? Then he increased it to 80,000 crore. Then he increased it to 1,10,000 crore. Then Modi ji increased the investment in railways to 1,59,000 crore. And as industry, the vendors, the contractors, everybody, the entire ecosystem of railway family started gearing up for a period of growth. This year, Prime Minister has given investment of 2,41,000 crore. We have to now deliver to this higher challenge. So once we start investing in capacity, and as you are aware, last year railways successfully placed an order for 85,000 wagons. This is the highest, largest order anywhere in the world, 85,000 wagons, largest order anywhere in the world. So we have to keep working like this. It's like sprinting in a marathon for at least next 10 years. Then only many of the problems that you're saying, I'm fully aware of it. We have to sprint like this in a marathon. Then only we will be able to meet everybody's aspirations.
Ashwini ji, are you willing to take one last question?
As many as you say.
Okay. So we have a last question. The gentleman there in the wonderful beige suit. Can you have a microphone, please? A microphone, please, for the gentleman. Excuse me. वो microphone आने दीजिए आपके पास, ताकि सब सुन लें.
Excuse me, sir.
I'm Kishore Khabia Jain from Mumbai. I have a small question. Before starting metro in any city of India, we are doing some study because metro is required in that city or not, that any mechanism or study.
Detailed planning is being done. Very serious DPRs are being prepared by world's best firms for every project. Be assured.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank
We are very, very pressed for time. A big hand to the Honorable Minister. And thank you all.